Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to kind of more of a deep dive into the Rook MK2. I also wanted to show off it printing while I talk about it and just give some actual information on screen. But before we get into the Rook MK2, let's take a look at the video sponsor, PCB Way. You guys know the drill. PCB Way is not just a PCB manufacturer. They do CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. Let's take a look at their 3D printing service. We're going to go ahead and add a part for the Rook MK2. We're going to add the X carriage mount, the MGN9 mount. We're going to choose a quantity of 1. We'll choose PLA. We're going to choose green, of course. And you can see we can go ahead and order our 3D printed part. If you need any help with your future projects, check out PCB Way. First thing, this is a true 120 by 120 build area 3D printer. It fully uses the V0 bed. So I am using a 3D printed bed in this video, but this supports the Rolohaun V0 bed just like the original Rook does. However, unlike the Rook, where that was like 110 by 110 or something like that, this is the full 120 by 120 build area. So that was one of my first goals that I wanted to make with this printer. Also, you'll notice that there are no belts in the way of watching the print. There's no frame in the way of watching the print. Again, I wanted to have a more polished look. I wanted to make it easy for people to watch it print, you know, kids, people new to 3D printing, that type of thing. The whole idea of this printer is to get people into, you know, building their own printers, customizing them, learning about Clipper, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is probably one of the easiest printers to modify as well. Being a fully 3D printed frame, you can do a lot of mods with the panels, you know, the front panels and color choices and all that kind of stuff. This allows for a lot more customization with this printer. Another thing that I actually wanted to make a lot better was how the belts mount. There are no zip ties at all mounting the belts on this printer. It's all apex clips. So essentially you have a belt that goes into some teeth, some 3D printed teeth, and then you have a clip that sandwiches the belt right onto those teeth. If these are designed properly, they can hold around 40 pounds. They're really, really, really good. There's no like M3 bolts needed, no zip ties. The belt stays nice and straight. They're just the best way to attach belts to printed parts. It takes a little bit of time to design this, but it's a much cleaner look and it's easy to assemble and it looks really good. So there's no zip ties. When you home the printer, it has really nice flat surfaces to home on. The original Rook, it had like zip ties holding the belts on, and the zip ties could get in the way of homing fully and that type of thing. So again, I cleaned everything up, I polished everything, and we have no more zip ties holding the belts. Also, we moved over to a linear rails for Z. These are just way more accurate. The price is essentially the same, honestly. However, we're kind of reducing the parts count a little bit. We just have 2 linear rails for Z versus 4 rods and 4 bearings just for Z. So that's also a bonus as well, but the linear rails are just much better. Again, trying to simplify the bill of materials as well. As you can see here, this fully supports the Dragon Burner Toolhead by Chirpy. This is kind of like the standard as far as small tool heads. This is actually smaller than the ant head tool head. The ant head tool head sticks out 15 millimeters farther to the front of the printer. So I much prefer the Dragon Burner tool head. And then this basically supports any hot end you want to use. It's really awesome. It supports the Bamboo Labs clone hot ends, which are kind of like the cheapest go-to hot ends that I usually like to use. And then you can pretty much use any extruder you want. Orbiter, you know, Sherpa Mini. I'm using a Galileo 2 Voron extruder here. That's kind of my favorite. You can buy a Triangle Labs kit for the Galileo 2. It's like $60 or something like that Canadian, or it's a really good single gear extruder. It kind of gets rid of all of like the wobble with BMG gears and all that kind of stuff, and it's relatively inexpensive. I just like the print quality. I like how easy it is to assemble. So that was my choice of extruder, but like I say, you can pretty much use any extruder that you like. Also for the Z, we have a 4-to-1 gear reduction. So the bed does not fall when it powers off. It's still a simple gear reduction. There's only 2 bearings in it, and then basically a shaft, and you can 3D print the large 80-tooth gear if you'd like. And then we have a 188 millimeter belt loop for that. So yes, adding a gear reduction adds a very small amount of complexity, but the benefits outweigh that very insignificant amount of complexity, right? We don't want the bed to fall. We get a little bit more Z accuracy, and it just makes sense. Same thing goes for using belted Z. You know, belted Z might have a couple more parts, like it has an idler, you have to tension the belt. However, we are already buying belts for the printer, so why not use those belts for Z? Lead screw just doesn't make sense in this scenario. You know, we're going to be adding additional components just for Z. We already have a bunch of belts left over. Why not use those belts for the Z? So belted Z has always been a favorite of mine. Yeah, it does add some more idlers, and you do have to figure out a way to tension the belts. And then we kind of have a gear reduction to prevent the bed from falling, but we're already getting all those components anyways, right? We're already buying bearings, we're already buying idlers, we're already buying belts. So why not just use slightly more and then have a really nice Z that doesn't have any Z wobble? So also, this is obviously direct drive out of the box, unlike the Rook Mark 1. You can of course still use a Bowden. There is an adapter for a Bowden for the Dragon Burner, so if you want to still use Bowden, you can definitely do that. You'll have to figure out where you want to put the extruder in that case, but it does support direct drive like right out of the box. I know a lot of people like that. Also, this supports sensorless homing and end stops, both of them right out of the box. Again, the Rook Mark II here is much more customizable out of the box. You can build this printer the way you want, right? Any extruder you kind of want, any hot end, and if you want to use sensorless homing, awesome. If you don't want that hassle, you can just buy 2 end stops and use that as well. Same thing for the probe. As you've seen at the start of this print here, this fully supports the BQ microprobe out of the box. So if you want to just use a probe to level your bed, you don't have to modify the printer in any way. Just buy yourself a BQ microprobe and you're good to go. However, if you don't want to use a microprobe, it fully supports a optical end stop as well. So again, you can choose whichever you like. Optical end stop is much more accurate than mechanical, so for the Z, we want that accuracy, and that's why I've chosen an optical end stop. It's the exact same end stop that the Delta Flyer 3D printer uses. So again, a lot of choice there as well. So I've basically just tried to make it so that you have more choices, especially a beginner coming into building this printer. You know, you might want to use end stops instead of sensorless homing. That's kind of could be a hurdle for a beginner to do. You know, same thing with direct drive versus Bowden. Direct drive is generally easier It's easier to tune, pressure advance, that type of thing. Also, the really big update on this video, this printer is Cartesian, as you can see. You can see the X belt in the video. So I fully converted this over from HBot to Cartesian, and I'm very, very happy with this. It's much easier to build. Like the belt path is so simple. It just, you know, it feels smoother. I'd like to get this printer out in the next week and a half. No guarantees, but the Cartesian stuff is done now. So it's just a matter of cleaning up the CAD a little bit. I'm gonna hand the CAD over to Canrog just because he's gonna do the tedious work of adding all of the bolts and heat sets for all of you. So when you go to view the link on Onshape, that's gonna be a really excellent build guide of how to build the printer. All the screw sizes are gonna be in there. All the heat sets are gonna be in there, all that kind of stuff. So thanks so much everyone for, you know, checking the video out and supporting me on Patreon. It goes a long way, and I'm gonna catch you all next time. I plan on doing one more video of the Rook Mark II kind of final wrap up, and this printer will be ready for mainstream. So thanks again everyone for watching.